Villa fans. I'm here in my kitchen because this is where I was. I was cooking dinner, watching the game, and I was trying to keep one eye on everything on the hob and then the other eye on my device over at the corner. And look, it was, had to happen. You have hungry kids, but woof, that second half could hardly keep my eyes off the device. We lived dangerously. First half I thought we were terrific. Completely cut through them when we were attacking. Got ahead. We didn't get that second, and that's a bit of a problem for the team. Not to bring up negatives, but something to watch. We're not scoring enough goals, so I do think it's stating the obvious. We need to sign a striker, so fingers crossed that still comes through. Even though, great to see Jadon Sancho scoring his first goal for Aston Villa. Look, if he can turn into, some of the player he was in previous years, that'd be great. I mean, Emery has said that he sees great things from him on the training ground, so if he can kick on, that would obviously help us hugely, but we need to score more goals because we nearly got caught. Now, look, we had a goal ruled out for offside. Fenerbahce had a goal ruled out for offside, and they were both offside. There was just a brief head in the hands moment where I thought I was going to be saying, oh, well, we didn't take our chances, and look what happened. But look, we hung on at that second half. Marca Bazot, if I wasn't holding the phone, I'd give you a clap. Now, question. Emi Martinez being linked with Inter Milan. If a big overinflated bid comes in last day of the January window, do we accept it and just go with Bizot to the end of the season? I don't know the answer to that yet, but I think there's a case to be made. Reasons to be positive. One, lots of negativity, a defeat to Everton, McGinn injured for a few weeks, Kamara out for the rest of the season, the whole uncertainty of the January transfer window, missing out on Gallagher, just could have been a hard luck story, but we dug in and showed that we can still get over the line and win, and we're back into winning ways. Two, Tyrone Mings, 90 minutes, looks solid. Delighted to see him wearing the captain's armband again. Fingers crossed, he kicks on from here. And three, Anana back, looking himself, looking great. There was a bit when we were counter-attacking, he was running. I was almost saying, stop running. I don't want you to injure yourself. Now that you're back. We've dug it out. The Tielemans thing, I'm presuming that Emery was really annoyed that he picked up a silly yellow card. Really big news as well, Midtjylland dropped points, 3-3 draw. So we are now in the top two. So a win against Salzburg next week at home, and Villa will have home advantage all the way up to the semi-finals. So that'll be absolutely fantastic. A good night for Villa fans. And after the last couple of weeks when it was all doom and gloom, this is a nice tonic. Let's take that good energy into Newcastle at the weekend.
Oh, Fenerbahce 0, Aston Villa 1. I'm not in Turkey, you know that. I'm in Birmingham, in the lovely suburbs of Bourneville, and out in the car after that win. Absolutely amazing. So I thought, let's get these thoughts down. What a performance from the Villa boys. Contrasting, I felt that in the first half there, we were very dangerous on that counter-attack. We wanted to counter-attack as much as possible. And the three behind Watkins were so brilliant at getting on the ball and driving forward with it. Morgan Rogers had a fantastic game. Jadon Sancho potentially had his best game for the club, and of course scored that vital winning goal. An absolute beauty of a header. The movement, the run to the right, the cut back to the left. He saw the deflection and nodded past wrong-footed Ederson. Emi Buendia never gives up. Never, ever, ever gives up. That man runs his socks off. He runs his little legs into the ground. Ollie Watkins had a difficult night. He had Skriniar constantly on him, constantly bounding him, constantly up against him. When Watkins was able to use his pace and get round him, he won corners, he won throw-ins. That was fine for tonight because it took the pressure off and it allowed us just to have a breather, especially in that hostile atmosphere. And it got the Fenerbahce crowd that little bit more on their own team's back rather than on ours, because we saw what it was like as soon as we got the ball to begin with. Then the midfield too. Yuri Tielemans and Lamar Bogard. Belgian brilliance from Tielemans. He's so good on the ball. that sort of game suited him perfectly in centre mid. He's a great centre midfielder. Been doing better in the cam role this season, I feel. Though he was great there today, being able to link up the play. A proper centre mid, not box to box, not a 6, not an 8, just a centre mid. Good old fashioned centre mid. Give him the ball and he'll knock it round. He'll bring it forward if he has to. He'll get back as well. Lamar Bogard, the Dutch destroyer. Let's put some respect on that name. There's been a lot of noise on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, saying Lamar Bogard isn't good enough. I'd sell him. Let's get the pure profit. Bogard covers so many positions. He did so well today in that centre midfield alongside Yuri Tielemans as well, especially in the absence of Amadou, Onana, Abubakar, Kamara. He was there and he was on song. The defence were great. Matty Cash, brilliant. Thought he might get a booking so that he could miss the next game rather than miss the knockout stages. But, you know, he might get rested next week now. Luca Dean had a very good game at left back, and Mings and Lindelof looked as though the windscreen wipers there giving us the old Mexican wave. Mings and Lindelof were brilliant together in that centre of defence. They looked like they played together a million times. They were so calm. They knew how to handle John Duran with the experience between them, and they had him in their pocket. Marco Asensio didn't do a fat lot either, though showed glimpses of the player he is. They had to revert to bringing on Talisca. A few shots there, a couple of dangerous efforts, but Marco Bizot, my player of the match, Marco Bizot, was saving everything. Yeah, one went in, it was offside, it doesn't matter. He was great, picked up an injury, he carried on. Was it a pep injury so that we could take some of the sting out of the game? Probably. But fantastic. The substitutions when they happened, I'm going to be honest, I was scratching my head a little bit. But Garcia and Martin coming on into those wide midfield areas. Of course, Garcia started as a winger at Levante, and Martin has played further forward on occasion for other teams. He's very good at getting forward. Amadou Onana coming back into the centre of midfield was great to see. Even just that 20 minutes, and when he stretched those legs, getting forward at the end and playing that pass to Evan Gasson, which didn't quite pay off. He remembered what he brings, and you're glad that he was out only for a little amount of time, and hope that he's ready to start on Sunday, regardless of how good Bogard did. Or maybe it's Bogard and Onana. You then had Gasson come on, and he showed some good flashes. He showed some confidence there in that second striker position behind Ollie Watkins. He didn't get a lot of the ball, but when he did, he worked hard, and when he didn't have it, he put the press on. And of course, George Hemmings, he came on at the end for a cameo there in the Europa League. It was lovely to see him come on. We hope to see a lot more of that young man, the player who joined us from Nottingham Forest. And as I said in the little YouTube short, go and check that out if you want to. I hope George Hemmings gets a start next week against Salzburg, whether CM or Cam. I'd probably go CM because that's more of his natural position. But it'd be great to give him a run out with some experienced players around him. I don't think that we should be aiming to play or best a lot of players. We've still got to go with a strong team. We still want to build momentum because it's very easy to lose momentum. But let's get him into the team, hopefully. Of course, as well, there's transfer news tonight in regards to Aston Villa, and I say tonight, time of recording, I told you, even though this isn't coming out until the day after, we have Rumours that Douglas Luiz is open to a return to Aston Villa on loan. You also see that fans say, no, we don't want Douglas Luiz because he was no good without Kamara. We don't know what Luiz would be like with Onana or with Bogard. Dougie Luiz for 6 months. Yes, he hit a glass ceiling apparently, but will that be what he needs as motivation to push on and to get to the next level? Because he's fallen off since he's left the Villa, let's be honest. There's also Ruben Loftus-Cheek. That's one that excites me. A good 10, a good centre mid as well. He could be a very shrewd signing for the Villa. But we'll have to see what comes in the coming days. Hopefully there'll be a striker as well, either Tammy Abraham or Jean-Philippe Mateta. Though let's see what happens, because if anything, and I realise it's Alabe who's very heavily involved in transfers now, but if tonight shows us anything at all, it's in Unai Emery we can trust. Cheers, Sar. Thank you very much. Up the Villa.